Hour 2 first.
Get the right glasses on.
Milk and cookies.
And it looks like we are yes, we are live for Triple T Talk Time with TJ number 192. 192 on September 2nd, 2025. So we got 92 in that number as well. Who'd have thunk it? Well, I want to welcome everybody here. Thank you for showing up. And as always, gotta say a quick welcome to everybody out on YouTube, including hi, Mom. And for those of you that are yes, it has been one of those days. For those of you watching YouTube or watching the recording, please do me all of the free YouTube stuff. Click the subscribe button, ring the bell, click the like, leave comments. If you didn't like it, go to somebody else's page and leave comments, but come back and like mine. Just kidding, kind of not. And while you're on the internet, take a few minutes to check out my website at thetswb.com. That's right, tallskinnywhiteboy.com. And there you'll find a lot of the stuff that I offer, the things that I am blessed to be able to help people with, such as depression, anxiety, phobias, PTSD, grief. I work with athletes from beginner all the way up to the pro level. I offer corporate coaching. I help speakers, public speakers, with all sorts of interesting, fun stuff. What else? I also do a lot of relationship work. So if you know somebody who's looking for that special somebody, the last special somebody, have them get a hold of me. And I've even worked with some couples. So if you know some couples that are getting into the challenge area, have them get a hold of me. I am not a family marriage therapist, and I don't work with the couples together. I work with them separately to help them grow and clean up their stories and all the above. But I've been able to help a number of couples so far, so got that going. And I do offer a free 30-minute consultation. That's 30 minutes of my time to spend with you to help you find the solution for the challenges that you are up against. And during that time, if I feel that we are indeed a fit and I can help you, I will let you know. Also, I promise you, if I feel that we are not a match, I will let you know, and I will do my best to help you find one of my colleagues to make sure that you get the change that you are worthy of and looking for. There, got that done. Let's move on to introducing the tie of the week. I have been showcasing my collection of ties since the first show on 2024. And this tie, little bit on the colorful side, this is actually a Jerry Garcia. Got her right. Very nice. Jerry Garcia, one of my more colorful of the collection. And to give you a little insight as to how Triple T works, for those of you that are new to Triple T, it's a 2-hour show. First hour, I do my best to try and make it through 3 topics. And then the second hour, that's when things take a little change. And I have open mic, open platform. Anybody on the call can ask a question, bring up a topic. And because I like to learn as well, I let everybody on the call answer first. And when everybody's answered and put in their information, then if I feel I've got anything to add, that's when I add my two centavos. Yes, that's a technical term, I believe. Yeah, something like that. But before we get started, I also like to have anybody on the call offer up something cool, something awesome, something good information from the last 7 days. And Lenore's got her hand up. What you got for us?
I had a crazy aha. So what the audience did not see, aside from the people that you can't see that are here that just aren't on camera, you did not hear the pre-conversation. And then we had a pre-conversation and now more thoughts are coming up. And I just realized how important it is to notice the people that are positive and supportive in your life and then turn up the volume on that. And then the people that you might find that are critical or a bit more criticizing or a bit more negative, you can actually start to, for lack of a better term, notice the distortion in their perception about your progress. If we're the meaning makers of our experience, and I'm meaning like, oh, I took a step forward. Oh, this means I'm making progress rather than, oh, this ultimately means I'm not making progress or I'm not going anywhere. Whatever you want the meaning to be, you're the ultimate chooser.
Yes.
Notice how you're going to choose to hear those positive people more consistently and how it's going to resonate differently with you and how you're going to start to notice that you hear those less than positive people less and less and less. Because you get to make the meaning.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like the radio stations. Some are just da 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 da, and some have music that lifts you up, and some have music that makes you want to. Yeah, that too, and all the above.
Oh, I like that one, Mark. That's a good one too.
Get up and dance.
Hi, Nancy.
And you got when you were talking about that, my squirrels. By the way, if you're watching for the first time and you're wondering, we're going to be talking about squirrels, and no, we're not talking about the ones that are robbing your bird feeder every day. We're talking about the squirrel. And my squirrels have squirrels that know squirrels that bring along squirrels to discuss topics of squirrels. So, um, see, and one of my squirrels ran away with what I was going to. Oh, it was when we had talked about ladders and the rungs of the ladders. And as you educate yourself and get to know yourself better and evolve, and you climb the ladders of evolution, you still have to take a few steps down the rungs to talk to certain people. And that's not a slam against the people on the lower rungs. They are where they are in their journey. But what you will find is going down those levels, down those rungs to talk to those people can be really taxing. And trying to explain to them some of the concepts of what you have experienced and what you now know. Yeah, trying to explain to somebody what a rose smells like when they don't even know what flowers are. You know, and you have to keep that in mind. Make sure that you don't accidentally forget how to climb back up to the rung you've achieved. Kind of like finding out that not everybody worries about stuff the same way.
They don't worry about stuff the same way. I do notice this.
Yes. And that ties right into one of tonight's topics. But before we get there, did Mark have something cool to share from the last 7 days?
Yeah, I've been, doing yard work and my back's been bothering me. And sometimes, you know, you have the skills that, because it's perception. And I used uh, the Jedi mind trick, the spinning or the neurosomatic verbal repatterning just a little while ago. And, boom, pain's gone.
That
And
stuff works?
yeah, that's what I said. Wow. So again, I teach it, and then I was like, wait a minute, I'm going to do that. And then all the pain it's a weighing, turning down the perceptual dial. And so, yeah, perception is reality. What Lenora said about, um, again, and I remember a show, that I was watching, and they were talking about this woman who had like an Axis 2 diagnosis. And this little girl said, you still have all the emotions. It's just that those are turned way down. She's like, I don't do affection. I don't do this stuff. And she says, yeah, but you have them. Very insightful by the little girl. It's just that all those emotions are just turned way down. And you could see the change with this woman who thought she didn't have those emotions, grabbed the kid and gave her a hug. And because she saw through the facade that even though she had an Axis 2 diagnosis, yeah, she still has those emotional states. She just, life's experiences, she learned to turn them down. And
Awesome.
what you said about the ladder, I've used that for years. Again, I tell people, I may be a little bit more evolved, but I'm only a couple rungs ahead of you, which forces me to keep trying to get better, keep going up higher. And because we're all on a personal journey of evolution. So I ask people to join me on that journey because that's what I'd come back 6 months from now. I won't be the same person, you know.
That's our
Definitely
goal
not
and
in this
our
tribe.
hope is to constantly be better than the person you were yesterday. Who's your main competition? The person I was yesterday. I'm trying to who I'm trying to remember what actor was taught. I think it was Matthew McConaughey. All right, all right, all right. And he talked about he just wanted to be better than the person he was yesterday.
Very much so. He gives a beautiful speech
Yeah.
and then says, somebody asked him, who's your hero? And he thought about it. And he comes back, I believe he comes back the next day. He goes, I know who my hero is. It's me in 10 years.
Yeah.
So that was a good one.
Yeah.
And great person to look up to and try to achieve.
Mm-hmm. Very much
As long
so.
as you don't set your sights too low.
Mm.
I've had a number of clients that for so many years they set their goal so close in front of them that literally all they had to do was kneel down and they've achieved their goal. Oh, look, I've gotten to my goal. Well, lay down, you'll get even beyond your goal. Yay. That's part of the evolution, the evolving. And sometimes I find myself feeling bad for judging people that don't have that desire to change. They are so deeply embedded in the comfort zone that they're just like, this is good. This is all I need. And I said, well, I'm sorry, but don't judge me for not being able to stay in mine.
That's a big one for sure.
Because once you find out that you'll always have a comfort zone, but it's at a different level. Say you start at level 3 and you get up to level 4. Well, 3 is your comfort zone, so you push to 5. Now 4 is your comfort zone, so you push to 6. Now 5 is your comfort zone. But without the push, 3 could easily slip to 2. 2 can easily slip to 1, and pretty soon there's nothing there. So here we are. Haven't even gotten to the topics yet, and we're in all sorts of fun topics. That's how Triple T works, so appreciate you guys showing up. Are we ready for tonight's topics?
Really quick, TJ, did you flip mics or something? There's like occasional feedback that I'm hearing, and I was just about to try it on YouTube.
Is it still there?
No, it kind of goes in and out, and I'm like, is it just me? Mark isn't hearing feedback, so I wasn't sure if anybody else was.
Good question. I've
It
got,
almost sounds like a radio.
yep, I've got nothing going on here.
Okay. All right, I'll keep you posted. Thank you.
Yes, no, I appreciate that. Okay, let's bring out tonight's topics. Tonight's topics are hearing it, full cups, and saved lessons. Hearing it is kind of in line with what are the 3 most expensive words when somebody is willing to teach you something. I know you guys have heard this many, many times. What are the 3 words?
I know that.
I know that, yes. And yet, it's amazing how when I'm working with clients, sometimes we go back and do some regression. And just like my client today, you guys know, I get most of my topics from my clients. This one is no different. When we regressed to some of the stuff that was leading to their challenges, they realized they had heard the answer numerous times in their childhood. They just didn't hear it. They heard it, but it didn't land. They heard the lesson, but they didn't take the notes. Henceforth, they repeatedly failed the test. And today, when we were working on stuff and I was doing what I do, including asking questions about why is it so important to be this way? And it made me wonder, is it kind of like, excuse me, hearing a song, and I've touched on this before a couple of times, and you can sing that song, belt it out, word for word, blah, 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 da, da, da. You are the best singer on that song. You've been singing this song for 30 years. And then one night somebody pulls up the music, karaoke style, or you watch something on TV and they've got the lyrics, and somebody changed the words to the song because what you've been singing do not match those lyrics that are on there. And sometimes you have to rewind it and go, no, 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 no. I've been singing that for what? And the challenge is, the next time you have to sing the song, you know you've saying it wrong. Are you going to remember the real words? Don't beat yourself up if you stumble on them a couple of times. No different than learning new lessons. When you're like, oh, I've been thinking this way for so long. I can't believe I've been thinking this way this long. So how do we change it? What's the first step? Recognizing I've been doing it this way, the wrong way, for so long. And why is it important to you to now do it the right way? What is going to be your motivation to hold yourself to it, and how are you going to remember what it is that you want to change, how you're going to go about that? Lenora.
I think it's a lot like once you ring the bell, you can't unring it. So once you notice it, and I've noticed that for something where I made a change and then I somehow went back to a previous thing and I'm like, what was I doing? There was something that I was doing. I need to get back to that thing that I was doing. What was it? And then the other thing was, it's funny that you said it that way, because I realized that there are people that make a decision and don't question their decision. And I also realized that there are people who do not worry. Now, I don't know about any of you guys, but I will be quite honest. I had no idea that people don't worry. Like, they just don't think about it. It's just they just don't entertain this preposterous idea. And I was shocked because when I thought about it and I looked at it from the inside, I'm like, okay, Lenora, who taught you to worry? And I started to look at this very long timeline of how I was taught to worry, but also our culture to talk about the worst case scenario. They love to worry. They love to commiserate and bond over worry. And it blew me away because I was really noticing almost as if it was like a completely, like, here's this version of Lenora, and there's a full, not like, oh, somebody took the microphone. No, there's a full walking, talking version of Lenora that is just like full on worry. And when I realized that, it was this massive aha, and I think I somehow deviated to scroll, ran away with the point, but we're not just entrained, we're then also shown this great environment that says worry about everything that you possibly can. That's what it was. I thought, how much more brain power, what other things could I solve if I did not focus on worry? I'm telling you, things that I could come up with. I'm very excited about this new insight. So when I now think like stop worrying, or like don't worry, resonates so much differently right now. Can't unhear it.
And I've got squirrels over here going, hey, hey, look. And it's the concept of, why doesn't the bird worry about the strength of the branch? Because it trusts its wings. There are so many people that you're like, how do you not worry about blah, 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 blah? Because I've been through blah, 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 blah. And at the end of it, I was like, so I'm not going to worry about it anymore. If it happens again, okay, whatever. I know how to change a tire on my car and I know that I have a good spare in the trunk, I'm not going to sit there and as I'm driving around going, what was that noise? Oh my gosh. Oh, I hit that. It did that pothole. What if I. No, I've got other things that I can think about. And it robs me of the enjoyment of the drive. Mark.
Yeah. My seventh grade crush, Sue Ellen Macaulay. Um, I got the crush about the same time that song Precious and Few came out. And uh, my mind changed the words for many years. It was always precious and few are the moments sweet Sue can share. And to this day, when I hear the song, I can hear a part of me wanting to go with with the real word, the words that were in the song, we too, or but I also hear an echo of Sweet Sue at the
Yes.
same time.
And
So
I call those audio infections. Weird Al Yankovic and a few other musicians have made bank on audio infections. And when you think about how easy that is, in fact, I didn't come up with this, but a little deal that I heard a guy doing it. If one of you is willing to play along with this, is who wants to play along quick for a demo? You guys can
Totally.
if you want. I'm going to spell a word. I want you to tell me what the word spells. So the word I'm spelling, Macdaddy. And you don't get to write it down. You just got to do it in your head. So Macdaddy. What's that spell?
Act Daddy.
Mac Daddy for the win. Okay. Next word. MAC. MO.
KEY.
MMY. MAC. MO. MMY. What's
Mac
that
Mommy.
spell? Mac Mommy. That's right. Next word. MAC. HINES. MAC. HINES.
Mac Hines.
Machine.
Sheen.
Elijah for the win.
Totally, Elijah.
But that demonstration was done by a keynote speaker to prove how easy it is for us to miss things that we hear. You get listening to music. You can sit there and hear the music and you can sing it and all the above, but did you hear the message? You sang the tune, you missed the message. Are you hearing it? One of the ones that cracks me up, who knows what the song Thunderstruck by AC/DC is about? Anybody?
And strippers.
Now, before I tell you, I'm going to tell you that one time I heard a DJ playing it inside of a church. And I went, oh, apparently nobody other than me knows what that song is about. It's about a bunch of guys going on a road trip, and they go up to Texas, and they meet some dancers who show them a real good time. I was shaking at the knees. Could I come again, please? You've been thunderstruck. And I was like, yeah, somebody's not listening to the lyrics. Another one, because I DJ'd weddings for so many years, what was the number one inappropriate song requested for dances, for wedding dances?
Wasn't it the one by Whitney Houston from Bodyguard?
That was the remake of the Dolly Parton, yes. And the
Yeah.
song was I Will Always Love You.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'm not playing that for the wedding. Oh, it's such a pretty song.
I feel like
Huh? And I was like, you're right. It is a pretty song for a breakup.
yeah.
And they're like, what? I'm like, it's a breakup song. If I should stay, I would only be in your way. So I'm going to go. But I will always love you. They heard the song, they heard the words, but they didn't hear the message. So once again, how often are we in a situation like that?
Right. I think my husband used to think a moon on the rise, and he would think it was like bad man on the right.
Oh, that
The
was
blue moon
another
on the
audio.
rise.
Yeah, that was another audio infection I started. I've got many of them. A lot of them I can't say on here because this is a family show. Yeah, bad moon on the rise. I changed to there's a bathroom on the right. Mark,
Uh, what is it? Billy Joel talks about in his head one of those audio infections where where it's one of his songs and he's like, um, what is it? I always go to extremes, but he's thinking in his head because they don't eat before the concerts, and it's like my mind always goes to ice cream. And,
yes,
and as he's playing that, he's thinking, because obviously they're terribly hungry by the time they finish their concert, but you don't eat anything because might disrupt your singing. But yeah, so I always go to ice cream. That's what he's singing in his head with one of those.
That's a really funny one. I
Yeah.
didn't know that one.
TJ.
Can I
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, I
just
thought you were
one
done.
more
Keep
one
going.
more thing again. What I just wanted to throw this at Lenora about what you're saying about worries, and I said again, and for 3 years I asked women everywhere. I said, what do you worry about? And consistently I got everything. And when do you worry about it? All the time. But you were talking about changing the word. I was and what if what if through the mechanism of hypnotherapy you could change that word to, instead of worry, challenge. And every time that you were able to every time you thought about something that previously would have been codified as a worry, because like you said, we're taught that. What if you could replace that word, get rid of that word from your dictionary, and change them all into challenges? And then when you overcome a challenge, you get flooded with a wonderful feeling as a reward for overcoming that challenge.
That's
So
a
you
good
could
one
take,
too.
yeah, you could take all those things that women worry about and change them into challenges, and then when they overcome one, they get a really great feeling
Yeah,
as a result. That would
I like that
probably
one
be,
too.
yeah, not bad.
And I've got some professional warriors in my family, and I finally told them, they look at me like, well, you just don't care. I said, da. I'm not worried because I've found out that worrying hasn't stopped any of the bad stuff from happening. It just wasted the pleasure and enjoyment I had of the present.
I would agree with that.
If worrying could change things, my mother would be sought after because she can do some professional worry. Love you, Mom. Just saying, love you. But yeah,
I was waiting for that one to come.
yeah, because now she's like, and you guys know how much I adore and love her.
We even all got to see her the last 2 weeks.
Yes, exactly. She was worried about being on camera.
She
And
did
nothing
beautifully
bad
on
happened.
camera.
Yes. So,
DJ,
yes, Elijah. There you are.
sorry, I don't know how to raise my hand on the iPad.
That's
So
okay.
I've raised my hand in real life, but you can't see it because the camera. I put a link in the chat to a song, not just for you, but for everyone. The song is called Walt Grace's Submarine Test 1967. That's just for the benefit of those who can't see the chat. But there
Okay.
is a link there. If you wouldn't mind, in your own time, when you have like 5.5 minutes, listen to that song, and I would like to know what you hear, what you think that song is about.
Okay.
Just based on like where and what you were talking about earlier. Anybody here, anybody who sees this, listen to that song, and I wonder if you think the story or the tale of it is the same as what I think it is.
And I've got a question for you, Elijah. There's a British comedian who loves to challenge people, challenge the crowd on their understanding of the lyrics.
Peter
And
Kay.
what's that?
Peter Kay.
Hilarious.
Yeah, Peter Kay. Misheard
And
lyrics.
yes, and
Yeah.
it proves the power of suggestion immensely. Because what he'll do is he'll preface with what he believes he hears. He'll play you the music that you know the words to. But as soon as he plays it, all
Yeah,
you
you hear the other thing. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and after a while, after he's on like 4 or 5 of them, he doesn't even need to front load you anymore. Then he just plays
Yeah.
it and you hear it wrong.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I can see why he's packing show places because it is very, very humorous but very addicting, especially for somebody as myself who absolutely loves music. And I'm like, what is it? We are family or something. Let me say for the record, but he goes, let me say to,
Staple the vicar.
yes, the
Let
Vicar.
me staple the vicar.
Let me say for the Vicar, and plays it, and that's all you hear. So again, hearing it in a way, that's kind of what we do. Because I take soundtracks, very familiar soundtracks, things that people have been saying to themselves for years, decades, and ask them, well, what if the words were this instead? And all of a sudden they're like, wait, what? Oh my goodness. Remember that song? I think it was Eddie Murphy. My girl loves to party all the time. Party all the time. What if she used to sing it, or it used to be saying, my girl loves to worry all the time, worry all the time. You're like, yeah, we don't need that song anymore. Let's change it to party all the time. Let's have some fun.
I do that with money, right? So I ask people, what are some of your beliefs about money? And they might say things like, money doesn't grow on trees, or money's hard to come by, or as soon as it comes in, it goes out again, things like that. And then I'd say, okay, now say the same thing again, but change the word money for the word energy. And they'd be like, oh, energy comes in, but it goes out all the time straight away. I'm like, hold on, that's not true. Wait. And then they start thinking, and really, money is just another form of energy. It's just another thing to exchange.
Yes.
It's just another thing to convert from its current form into whatever good or service you're going to exchange for it. It's just energy.
And it's certainly not a scarcity. We're led to believe that it is. But there is so much money on the
And
planet.
it's increasing.
Huh?
The amount available is increasing.
Yes, exactly.
Say for example, sorry, I hate to do this to you, but
No, go ahead. That's what we're
say
here
for
for.
example, you bought a piece of land that had nothing on it, and you decided to build a castle there, right?
Yep.
After you've paid for the architects, to draw up the blueprints, and the surveyors and the engineers and the construction workers and the electricians and the painters and the decorators and the gardener and all the stuff, and it's fully completed. Like, you're paying not only for the construction of the building, but all of the labor and everything that goes into it. Is the castle that's now on that land not worth more than what
Yes.
it was you invested in it? Plus, the people who you paid got to keep the money that you paid, so that's already in circulation. Plus, the value of it is now more. And on top of that, is the plot of land that's next to your castle now not worth more because there's a castle next to it?
Exactly.
Right? So the amount of available surplus abundance that's out there is forever increasing. There is no scarcity.
No, that's an amazing viewpoint on it. And you're right. It's also like the story of the auction violin. You guys know that one? Auctioneer held up an old violin and he says, what do I get for this violin here? Let's start the bidding off at $50. And all of a sudden it went down and down and down and to $5. And this old man walks up and says, hold on just a sec. And he takes a few minutes to tune up the violin and plays the most amazing piece of music on it ever. And then all of a sudden, the bidding goes nuts and sells for $2,000. Same violin. They didn't know the worth. They didn't understand the worth. They didn't see it. And so you get these, that's another one that I use for people that are having issues with their self-worth. There are so many stories like that. You know, tells the kid, take your car to this place and ask them what it's worth. Then take it to this place, then ask them what it's worth. And then you take it to this place and ask them what it's worth. And the kid comes back and goes, one guy said it was just an old piece of junk and wouldn't give me $100. The other place said that it's too old. They only deal with new vehicles, so it wasn't worth anything. And then the last place he sent me to deals in classic, and they said it's worth $40,000. The others just didn't know what they were looking at. And that means we got 15 minutes left to try and squeeze in two more. So if you guys...
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yep, no, please, go ahead.
That reminds me also of there was a guy on eBay who bought like 100 items for $1 each, and then had 100 different professional writers write a piece about each of the items, and then relist them with the story, and he made like $2,000.
Yes.
It was crazy. Just because there was a story attached to the item, it sold for so much more. Exactly.
And I've seen that so many times where people just don't know how to sell. They don't understand the mechanics behind it. Again, people weren't seeing or hearing the message. And if you don't give a message with it, they won't hear it. But I'm going to switch gears real quick, try and get 2 topics in, going on to full cups. And for those of you that are covering your ears right now, no, I'm not talking those. I'm talking about, we've heard this one plenty times, that when your cup is full, is there room for anything more? When it reaches that point, what is it full of? Is it good stuff? It's like that university teacher who takes a large glass jar and he says, is this cup or is this deal full? And everybody agrees no. He says, okay. So he puts in some couple of 3 or 4 big items and he goes, is it full now? And they said, yes. He goes, maybe not. So then he takes some medium-sized items that he can stuff inside in the little crevices. Is it full now? Yes. Maybe not. So he takes items that are even smaller and pours them in and shakes the jar a little bit. He says, now is it full? And of course, now people are starting to catch on. They're like, yes. And he takes some very small, almost like sand, pours it in, jiggles it. And he said, now is it full? And they said, yes. And then he pulls out a glass of water and pours the glass of water in and said, is it full? And they said, yes. He goes, which was the most important item I put in there? Because now it's full of a lot of things.
It's like that one.
So I heard it slightly differently.
Tell me your
the
version.
same thing, right? It's the same thing right to the end, and he asked the class, "What's the moral of this story?" And they say, oh, it's obvious. It's like no matter what you do, you can always add more. You can always do more. And he went, no, that's not it. It's if you don't put the big chunks in first, you'll never get them in.
That as well. Yes. I have not heard that version exactly, though. And if you look at the big chunks as your values and criteria, if you don't get those in first, how will you get them to fit in later? Especially the big ones that define who you want to be. Is there the ability to remove some of the chunks? Yes. That's what we do here. We help people look at their, I don't want to say cups, but there's a much better word. If you guys think of it, let me know. But when you start analyzing, you start looking in the mirror, it's kind of like soup. Once you make soup, it's kind of hard to unmake soup. However, there are some ingredients that are much easier to remove than others. And there are some ingredients that can be added to counteract other ingredients. Like if you get a little too, if it's a little too hot, a little too many of them, they're jalapenos, you know, you can add sugar to counteract the heat. If you understand how to cook. And it's the same with the things that we're dealing with. Sometimes you have to figure out how to remove an ingredient. Sometimes, if you can't remove the ingredient, you work on adding a better ingredient to counteract the ingredient that you don't want showing as much. Now, if you're baking, what would be a metaphor or something of that nature to our baker who is smiling, going, I'm being called upon?
Oh man, I've gotten pretty creative. It depends on what you screw up on.
And I notice how
I said screw up?
well, yeah, and the thing is, a lot of times we're not the one who introduced the ingredient on purpose.
That's
Depends
true
on
too.
who you hang out with, what news channel you might listen to, what kind of
Who teaches you to worry?
routines you allow yourself to get into. Yes, Elijah put a great quote in the chat. The people who will go farthest in today's world are those who know best how to unlearn and learn.
It's a good one, Elijah.
Yes, and that is a very big part of the growing process, because a lot of the things that are holding us back, we learned at a very young age. And we can sit there and go, oh, my parents, how did I? Your parents did the best they could at the time with the tools, the knowledge, the energy they had available to them. If they could have done better, they would have. A lot of the concepts that you're stepping into after the age of 18, that's on you. Yes, you may be following a course direction that your parents set you on. But if you're going down that course and all of a sudden somebody introduces you to a different idea and you go, wait, what? Oh, what? Well, oh, my parents said, no. It is now up to you to decide, what are you going to do about it? What ingredients can you take out if your cup is truly that full? Now here's another challenge. What if you could trade the cup in for a bigger cup? What if you found you had the capacity for more? At that point, what would you fill it up with? What would you add more of? We see some of these people that seem to be living larger than life. They are just, you watch them and you're just like, wow. Holy banana peels, Batman. How can they fit that much life into the same 24 hours that I have? I know. I have people like that. I look at them and I watch what they're doing and I get tired on their behalf. Lenore.
For some reason, this is the version that comes to my head. There are times where I have noticed myself being like significantly stuck in a doom scroll or significantly lazy without a justifiable reason other than like, I just don't wanna. And there are times where I will look at other people and I think, they don't think like that. Like they don't think like that. For example, Tom Cruise. I highly doubt the man is really just like in here having like a worry conversation with him. He's probably strategically thinking. And this is definitely my perception of Tom. I also think this. He moves about his entire environment, even if nobody's there, as if there's a full camera crew watching him. So if you had cameras around you and this was something that was being recorded, would you want that to be on television? Would you want that to be on the movie screen? And if not, okay, cool, no problem. What would you want to be on the movie screen? What do you want to be watching? Somebody who's engaging, somebody who's doing lots of different things or going in different directions or finding ways to take care of themselves, whatever it is to you. What do you want that movie to look like? So if you find yourself kind of stuck in this spiral of feeling like they can do stuff like that, I can't do that, and kind of like that heavy feeling, no, you absolutely can. Have a conversation with that version of you and then pretend that there's a camera crew. You'll move pretty quickly, I promise. It's quite interesting when you think about it.
And when you think of those level of actors and actresses, regardless, what must it be like when they're finally done with the movie and now they have to decide, who am I? I mean, who am I? Who am I? One that was coming to mind, and I can't think of his name right now, from The Mask and
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey.
Love him.
Robin Williams.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you look at those guys and women, And I can see why some of them can go into depression, because when
Oh,
you
yeah.
get done with being that deep into character, and finally the reason you're in that character so deep, they go, and we're done. That's a wrap. Then how long have you guys, us guys, our clients, all of us, how long have we been in character?
A bit of time.
Are we hearing the message? Are we hearing the music? Do we want to change the lyrics? Is the cup full of the good stuff? Do we want to trade it in for a bigger cup? All these questions right at the top of the hour, which means it's time for us to switch gears and move into the second hour. For those of you that may have tuned in later, you're watching the recording for the very first time. This is where that magic happens, where it's time for open mic, open platform. Anybody on the call can ask a question, bring up a topic, and we will let anybody on the call answer first, because I like to learn as well. But Elijah came up with another great quote from Bruce Lee. Empty your mind, be formless, shapeless, like water. You put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. Put it in a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teacup, it becomes the teacup. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend. Great quote. I've always loved that quote. Okay, we got all the yawning going on here, which means, come on, we get to play this. For those of you that don't remember, back in the day, there was a little cartoon, but we'll hopefully be a... Lenora, got a topic, got a question?
I do. I didn't know if Mark was still close by to unmute. So earlier, I had shared. So, and Elijah, I think you'll like this, especially when it comes to reality transurfing. Now, for context, in reality transurfing, they say that everything is a mirror. Your external world is a reflection of your internal world. So if you're noticing negative things, it's because your internal world is negative. And we're constantly expressing and receiving. So we're constantly getting feedback. Now, also adding to that, we make meaning. We just make meaning out of all of our experiences. And we're also designed to do this. So if you're looking at something, and this is where I think of it as like the Facebook comment section, because you can watch something where you can see one picture on Facebook and you will see tons of different comments, and you could take a very beautiful moment and somebody can rip it right out of context, and they're making meaning of whatever they're looking at, or why a picture is worth 1,000 words, because they're making meaning of whatever they're looking at. So in the context of, very specifically, I was speaking earlier before Triple T started about my business, and I look at my business as every step I am taking a step forward, even if it's a little micro step, even if it's like the smallest little step, or sometimes I get a big step, whatever the case may be. I believe I am making progress. There he is, the ninja in the shadows. He emerges. I am making progress toward the outcomes that I am intending. I am moving in the direction of my GPS. And other people can look at my business and go, oh God, she's not going anywhere. Oh God, she's still such a, whatever it might be. And we're looking at the same thing, but we're having two totally different responses, two totally different perceptions. And I had said, no wonder, and now keep in mind, we're talking about Lenora was previously worrying quite a bit. And now there are people around Lenora who also worry, but then worry to a different level than Lenora. So if whatever my level was, they were at what appeared to be a much more extreme level than my perception. So now we're both looking at my business, and I'm over here going, I'm making progress, and they're over here and they're going, you're not making progress. So now making completely different meetings. And I had said, man, I'd be just as worried as you if I was in that house of horrors. That's really a lot going on in there. And Mark had shared, it's not a house of horrors. It's a house of mirrors. And my mind went, because of reality transurfing and understanding that it is a reflection. It is a mirror reflection. So the things that you like in your life, you get to see, and the things that you don't like, it's also reflected back to you because it usually has something to do with you. Those are my thoughts. Elijah, I see that browse and perk.
You get to be right.
See,
That's
he's
the thing.
making meaning of
Okay.
that.
No matter what, you get to be right. If you think that, you know, you have to work hard for 55 years before you can enjoy retirement and enjoy your life, then you get to be right. If you think that university is only for a certain group of select people with a certain level of IQ, you get to be right. If you get to think that type 2 diabetes is not reversible, you get to be right. If you think cellulite is nothing more than fat cells and can be totally dealt with, you get to be right. Because there's now this whole thing, right? 5 years, 10 years now. There's this whole thing now, epigenetics, right? Which is basically saying that your gene, like, it's always been like your genes are your genes and you can't change your genes. Not true.
Yeah.
Not true. The way a gene can be expressed has like thousands of combinations and variations, and they are proving slowly that nurture is just as important, if not more so, than nature. You know, and they've done these experiments where they separated twins at birth and had one grow up in the Arctic and the other one grow up in the rainforest, and, like, you know what I mean, all kinds of, like, it's an extreme example that's been embellished, right? But they've done these sorts of things and shown just how different they are, even though they're identical twins, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just mental things and emotional things like beliefs and things like that, but also physical things, you know?
Very much so.
Who knows? Maybe if you have been 5'8", maybe you can grow past 6 feet. Who knows? Where's the limit? I don't know, is the answer. I used to think that it wasn't possible. I used to think that once you reach your, you know, once you're done growing, you're done growing, and that's you for the rest of your life. But I don't know anymore.
It's right up there with the universe always says yes. The answer is always yes.
Well, balancing forces, you know.
Interesting.
Balancing forces.
Okay. Nice plot twist.
You know. So that's straight from reality transurfing as well, you know. That if you put too much what's the word he uses? Excess potential.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
Right? If there's so much excess potential, then the balancing force is going to come in and correct it. Right? But the thing is, the universe is not, it doesn't judge. Okay? The universe has, maybe it does have a concept of it, I don't know, but it doesn't judge good, bad, right, wrong. Right?
According to him, it does not.
It will rain on a poor man just as easily as it will rain on a rich man. Right? If you fall off the top of a tall building, an angel doesn't come and check, oh, are you a good person, I'll save you. No, gravity's going to get you one way or the other. It doesn't matter who you are. Right? And so there are certain laws that are beyond good, bad, right, wrong. And they apply to everyone. And one of those laws is, what's the big one? Frequency. You get what you put out. Always. Always. It doesn't matter if you think you
That's
deserve
weird.
it, because it all starts with this question, right? It doesn't all start with this question, but one of the questions, if you really think about it, right? Try and answer this question: why do bad things happen to good people?
Not
And
perception.
someone I've been listening to and reading, Nero, says because good people have bad frequency.
It's a good one.
That's all it comes down to. They seem to think that they somehow deserve or are entitled to a certain way outcome because of their inner intention, but it's not about that, because secretly the inner intention or the inner frequency that they're putting out is this excess potential that's in reality transurfing, that things aren't right or things aren't fair. And so rather than focusing on, how can I say it?
I think you said it really well just there.
It's like the point of reference of your statement or your point of reference of your thinking. Okay, if I say nothing bad is going to happen today, the point of reference in my statement is still something bad.
Yeah.
I'm referring to something bad not happening, not something good happening. So the point of reference is still something bad, and that's what will end up matching. That's the frequency, and that's what will end up manifesting. Right? So even though they have a good intention, because it's expressed poorly with bad frame of reference, it ends up attracting the quote wrong thing.
Yeah.
And all you have to do, right? All you have to do is just follow what makes you happy and joyful. And just keep doing that.
Every day.
Just keep doing that. That's like the easiest, like low effort, low commitment way of solving it. There are faster ways, right? Better ways, in my opinion, better ways, you know. But if nothing else, just pay more attention to what makes you happy and less attention to what makes you unhappy. That's the simplest thing you can do.
Don't worry.
Well, you see, now listen to that. Listen to that. Listen to the point of reference.
Did you hear what I had
Don't
said
worry.
earlier? Because
No, I heard what you said.
Like, well, what do I want to do? What if I don't
But-
pick the right thing? That's a different frequency going on inside.
Yes, but even don't worry has the point of reference of worrying in the
Totally.
advice, right?
Yes.
It's more like be joyful or be grateful or be, you know, like don't tell a child what not to do, tell them what to do instead. Don't say don't write on the walls with crayons, tell them crayons are for paper. Right? Don't tell them what not to do, tell them what to do.
Yes.
Right? And that's kind of where it is. It's like you don't use the negation. I mean, I'm using negation now to explain it, but like you get it, right?
Very much so.
Yeah.
And part of the challenge can also be when you've got the mantra of everything is working for my greater good, and then you get plot twist left turn. How do you deal with the plot twist? You have to hold on to the only way through the suck is through the suck, because there's something better on the other side.
Understand that pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice.
Yes. And trusting in your abilities, just like I said earlier. Why doesn't the bird worry about the strength of the branch? Because it trusts the skills or the abilities of its wings. I'm amazed at watching birds. We got bird feeders out here, and you watch them things, and man, Some of them, they will land on the thinnest little branch, and they land on, and the branch goes whoop, and they're hanging off to the side, and off they go. Come back and eat. So, which makes you wonder that oftentimes I've looked at animals and talking about worry, you watch some animals and they are on high alert for the majority of their life. And the ones that aren't are in a zoo, aka a prison. But they're on display. Their living quarters is this big, but they get their 3 squares and free medical and all the above. And so you get to decide which one would be better. Would you want to be a lion in a zoo or a lion out in your natural habitat? You're still a lion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we got any more, or is it time for another question, another topic? This is your guys' hour.
I'm good right now. Hi, Greg.
Mark.
Hi, Lenore.
There we go.
I gotta push a button for this.
Mm-hmm.
I had a question.
Question.
You're gonna have to put on your tinfoil hats for this one. But
I love mine.
sometimes, like when you have an exceptional athlete, they always say he has all the intangibles. Okay. Question that popped into my mind is, again, what are the intangibles that you have in your life? And are they helping you or are they holding you back? So the center of the topic is about the intangibles.
And what does that word mean to you?
What does it mean to me?
Yep.
All the little, all the little things that, bring joy to your life. Like I said, the great insight you have when you're in the shower, and then by the time you dry your hair off, it's gone. Um, the intangibles are, like I said, they're the little things that when the sum total of them, are added up, and they tend to lead to exceptional people. And I think all of you are exceptional people. So just the little stuff, and but what are they? What are the intangibles? Curiosity, passion, but what are all the little intangibles that make you you?
That's a good one, Mark.
Who's got an answer for the question?
I like to think that my relentlessness is a good thing. Depends on who you talk to and what topic we're on. But I'm quite relentlessly determined to succeed. So that's how I would use that phrase.
Good answer. Holly.
So I have 2 thoughts when I think of intangibles with athletes. One is some people talk about that, you can't teach height, for example. But the other thing would be choices that people make. So, for example, having a growth mindset over having a limited mindset, for those who are familiar with that phrase, I think either one of those could be an intangible. And so, anyway, so just realized I should probably show my avatar here. But when I think about it, I've thought a lot about, say there's no such thing as normal. Well, there is such a thing as normal. It's a mathematical definition. It's when you fall into, the category of what, shall we say, maybe at least 68% of the population share that trait with you, then you're normal. And if most of the population doesn't share it with you, then you're not normal. Everyone has some area where they're not normal. And it's going to be the source of some of your greatest challenges, because the world is adapted to normal. But it's also going to be a source of your greatest strengths as well, because it's where you stand out. And anything you have that you're not normal, something you can turn into an amazing strength. So if you're really, really tall, there are certain things you could do that other people can't do. If you're really, really short, there are some things you could do that other people can't do, just as a, an obvious one that's easy to measure. And so anyway, so for some of the things I'm thinking about, we mentioned creativity. Not everybody is creative, but you don't have to be creative for that to be your only strength. There are also some people that aren't creative at all, and they can turn that into their strength. I know that may sound kind of like a strange thing to say, but sometimes being creative can distract you from, being able to stay inside the box, and sometimes staying inside the box is a good thing, but not always, So anyway, so when I think of some of my intangibles, I one of the first things I think is about how my brain is wired, which is definitely not normal. But then another thing that pops into my head is the importance of having a growth mindset, and I believe that a lot of the time I have that, which I think is probably my biggest asset of everything else on my list. So, and I'm kind of rambling, but
We love that.
Elijah.
So, I don't know if this answers the question, but what came to mind, so I have this belief, right, that everything will be all right in the end, right? And if things are not currently all right, then that means it's not the end. Okay. Now, on the, it's kind of a blessing and a curse, in a way. On the plus side, on the positive side, no matter how low I've gone, a few times, I've really battled with depression and sadness and things like that, I always find a way back, right? And I always find a way back. And I don't give up. When things look hopeless, I don't give up, right? So in that regard, it's very much a blessing. But then also sometimes I can be complacent, like if things aren't quite going right, rather than being like an action taking person who kind of takes it by the scruff of the neck and gets shit done, I'm like, it'll be all right in the end, like, and just kind of, don't worry, I'll just have to write it out or whatever. And so sometimes it's a bit of a curse as well, because I can get complacent. So it's an intangible, and it kind of swings both ways.
Great answer.
I have a saying for that. What you're talking about, that everything ends up okay in the end. I say that love is buoyant. It is as down low as you can get, depressed, sad, frustrated, angry, that love is like a cork in water, right? And will always rise to the surface. One of the issues I have, and I'm pretty much in the middle of it right now, is that when I'm down and feeling disconnected and not having faith and trust, I want to stay there. Is it energy? Is it that expenditure of energy that I'm getting from it by staying sad and angry and I'm going to stay down here forever? At least I know this. You know what I mean? At least I know this feeling. I can deal with it. It's very familiar. And inevitably I come back up again. And I actually fight it sometimes. I fight it. Oh, I don't want to go up there because it's up there. It's hard work. There's frustration and pain and fear and disconnection and where are the answers? I think I'm close to the answers. I hear so much now that we're tested the most when we're near the finish line. But for me lately, it's like I get up to the tape and I can't break the tape. It pushes me back, and there's some other crap I have to deal with again and again and again. So then I go, what's wrong with me? What am I not doing correctly? What am I not paying attention to? I look at myself like you guys, right? I'm like, I'm an okay guy. I'm of service to my customers, right? I in my heart, I love to help. And my life is good. I'm really grateful, but I'm gonna get over this hump. It's like, God, haven't I paid my dues? Haven't I been on the battlefield long enough? I'm guessing you guys may have been there once or twice yourselves.
Once or twice.
Anyway.
Who's got some input for our buddy Greg?
We see you, Greg. We appreciate you.
Amen.
Welcome to the tribe. And you are buoyant.
Most of the time. Most of the time. Yep. And isn't it about this, like, this part of our normalcy that we can't stand? Like, I'm normal. I have an ego. That's like the biggest anchor, is it not? One of the biggest anchors, this ego that is always looking for problems and magnifying the problems and looking for new stuff that's bad and wrong, and to take your energy away from your growth and your healing.
Yeah. He's a really sneaky bastard.
Oh, cunning. It's the most cunning foe ever,
Yep.
and it's between my freaking ears.
I mean, this is straight from Neville Goddard, right? Any identity statement is I am XYZ, whatever, right? So I am Elijah, I am a man, I am a hypnotist, I am a son, I am a brother, I am any identity statement.
Yep.
But try just stopping at the word am. I am, and then just wait. And whatever response comes up, say to yourself, okay. And then repeat, I am, and whatever response comes up, okay, and repeat. Until it becomes, or it feels like a chore or something, like you're forcing it or trying to get more answers, then you just stop and rest for a while and come back to it later and do it again. It should be a relatively stress-free, easy exercise, just to say, I am, and just to wait. And what really you're doing is kind of peeling back the layers of all that you think you are, and at the same time realizing that if there is a part of you inside somewhere that is making the judgment that I am X, then who is that that's making that judgment? It must be more than just X. And you're kind of slowly peeling back like layers off an onion, and you're going to get to well, I don't want to spoil it for you, like you'll get to an answer that's really cool and kind of profound, that you are so much more than you ever thought you were. And when you no longer, it is like a beginning of detachment in a way from things and even from self, right? Because, I started actually, before I even got to I am, I started with things like, I am more than my body. and I would just wait to hear what my mind has to say about that. And sometimes my mind would give me a flash or an image. Sometimes I would hear a sound. Sometimes I would hear internal dialogue. Sometimes I would twitch. Sometimes I would sneeze. Sometimes I would scratch. Right? They were all just unconscious responses. And no matter which one comes, I just say to myself, okay, I am more than my body. And I would keep doing it over and over until there was silence, and that I am more than my body had been accepted, and there was no response. So then you move to the next one. I am more than my emotions. Right? Then you could do a whole bunch of these. I am more than my past. Oh, that's a big one. Oh, that one took a while, right?
Aw,
Yeah.
Elijah.
And you know, and you'll get to a point where you won't even have to finish the sentence. Just I am, and just wait. And your body will tell you what it thinks you are, and you just, okay, if that's what you think, okay, that's your ego trying to answer it. No. Okay, I'm not saying no, I'm not saying yes, I'm just saying, okay. And I'll go again, and I'll go until there is absolute silence and no response. Full agreement that you just are. And that's the thing, you just are. Because, God forbid, you know, knock on wood, I hope it doesn't happen to anyone. Sometimes people have accidents, they wake up in the hospital, they have amnesia. They forget who they are, where they are, when they are. But they don't ever forget that they are. If someone wakes up and they have complete memory loss, the one thing they know is, I exist.
Consciousness prevails.
And everything beyond I exist is just a limitation. And another layer of limitation. And when you get all the way back to just existing, then you're like connected to everyone and everything. I know it's a lot to try and take in 5 minutes, right? But, you know, we could do a 30-hour seminar on that and, you know, barely scratch the surface. But that's essentially, you know, the main thing is, right? It took me forever. It seems like forever it took me to learn this, right? But just show yourself a little bit of compassion. Just be a little bit kind to yourself. The same way you wouldn't let someone talk shit about your best friend. Don't let it happen to you. And especially don't let you be the one who's talking shit to you. You know? Just be a little bit kind to yourself. That's all it is. That's where it starts. Compassion. Yeah?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Just a little bit of compassion. You know? You wouldn't laugh at a baby for falling over when they're trying to learn how to walk. You're still a baby trying to learn how to walk. That's all it is.
Cool stuff.
Very much so.
And we still got 27 minis left to talk about all sorts of other cool stuff. Mark.
I thought Elijah would like this one. I learned the other day that abracadabra in Arabic actually means I create as I speak. We create our reality with our words. And that's the real meaning of the word abracadabra.
Yeah.
You know, sound, yeah, it's true. You know, sound came before light. Even in the Bible, when you read it, it says, in the beginning, there was God, and God said, let there be light. So if he said, let there be light, that means sound came before light. Sound is everything. It's like the most fundamental vibration. You know? Yeah. Abracadabra. There's another one, Alakazam. It's a Pokemon, right? There's a Pokemon called Abra, and he evolves into Kadabra, and then he evolves into Alakazam. My younger siblings taught me that.
And that is the power that we have to understand, especially of our words. And, of course, thoughts are even sneakier than the words we speak out loud, because we allow our thoughts to say things we would never allow people to say to us out loud. And yet they roll through so rapidly sometimes. And a lot of times when I'm working with clients and they're having thoughts, and I'll ask them, okay, who said that and how old are they? And typically the first couple of times when I do that, they're like, wait, what? Yeah, what you just said, who said that and how old are they? And when they start unwrapping this, the next question that I'll ask is, when you close your eyes and you hear those words, where are they coming from? Yes, Elijah, most of the time. Up here, up here, up here. Rarely are they pointing down? And I've had it a couple of times, but rarely are they pointing down. It's typically because that's where the voices were coming from when we were kids. And
Spatially encoded memory.
yes. And even when we go back and rewind, just like we were talking earlier tonight, you can hear it, but do you hear the message? And it goes both good and bad. Now, people can, some of the stuff that I hear my clients say, and those of you that know me well know that I'm notorious for, wait, did you just say that? What? And I'll have them repeat what they said. Well, I was just joking. No. Go back. Who told you that? Who said that? How old are they? Yep. Somebody, 5-year-old said that. I'm like, you let a 5-year-old have that way with you even still today? Elijah.
The other one, when you're doing this exercise, right? The other one that's a dead giveaway is if they say something like, the difference between something like "I'm so stupid" versus "you're so stupid." If the voice on the inside, if the internal voice is saying "you're so stupid," it's not your voice, because you wouldn't say "you" to yourself, would you? You'd say "I'm so stupid."
Yes.
Right? So if the voice or the internal dialogue is like "you're this" or "you're that" or "you're not good enough" or that's somebody else's voice, because you would not say "you" to yourself. You would say "I" or "me." It's a dead giveaway that it's someone else's voice.
Yep. Or the third person, that was so stupid.
Yeah. An observer.
Yeah. Mark. He's like, sure, pick on me now that I've just taken a drink.
Yeah. Yeah, you watch it come out my nose. I was going to say, Greg, I think where you're supposed to be, And you seem like an intelligent, thoughtful, insightful person. So what I would say is to you is give my new friend Greg, a break.
Thank you. I can tend to be a little hard on myself.
I know, and I like you anyway.
that that is where I go sometimes, that because of things that are happening in my life, it's something I did, something I didn't do, should have done, could have done. I made the wrong choice. I should have chosen something else. I'm smarter than that. I have a logical, reasoning, methodical, ordered mind. In my toolbox. I should be doing better.
I would say you have to, again, forgive yourself for being human. We were talking about forgiveness last week or the week before that, and I heard a quote, and it said, "Forgiveness can't be eased or can't erase the past, but it can chart the future." I really like that.
That's a good one.
It's all recorded. So
Elijah.
Are you waiting for me? Okay. So, you guys probably heard me say this a million times, but might be new for Greg, right? When you say things like wrong choice or should have chosen something different, or I would just change it back into an ing. What are you choosing now?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because a choice or something that's chosen or a decision is frozen in time, but deciding, choosing is an active process.
Yes.
And it's forever yours. It's your ability that you can, exercise right now if you wanted to.
Yes. Yep.
Lenore.
I should was a phrase that was very loud in here. I should have known better. I should have. And I should have all over myself. And the question, that one that TJ often asks is, and the one that I carry with me is, who taught you that? So when you say, I should have known better, who taught you that you should have known? Because that'll bring you back to the source of who taught that pattern. I used to hear a lot, Lenora, you should have known better. So that's how I adopted it as my own. And that's where I did a lot of the work and was able to quite literally quiet the loudness that was occurring and the frequency that was occurring when I would hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Nancy.
I used to do a lot of negative self-talk all the time. Always told myself how stupid I was because I'd always make someone mad no matter what I did. And I literally had to just, as I started saying it in my head, I literally had to say, no, I'm not saying that. No, I'm not going to say it. I had these little fights in my head with myself to stop that. And it took a little while, especially the first couple of days are probably the hardest. And then it just got easier and easier and easier. And then I don't do that like I used to.
Yeah.
I literally stopped myself. So
Holly.
So when I think of should have, which is one that I still need to work on, but one of the thoughts I think about is if we were to take our mindset back to when we were kids and we were learning to walk, how many of us would say, I should have walked just right the first time. I can't believe I fell down the first time I tried. There's when we say should have according to whom and why.
There.
No, it's so the first thing I try to imagine is, the should have, is am I the child learning to walk? The other thing I think of is I call it the overachiever underachiever cycle. And I believe that we all have an overachiever inside of us. And the overachiever estimates how much time we have. It estimates how much energy we have. It overestimates how much money we have. It overestimates how many, we talk about SRUs, which is, for those who don't know, is, how much energy you have from the food you eat, the sleep you're getting, all that sort of thing. And so our overachiever, because it thinks we have so much more time than we really do, and so much more money than we really do, and so much more energy than we really do, and so many other things, it expects us to perform at impossibly high levels.
Yep.
Constantly telling us, you should have done this, you should have done this, you should have done this. And it's impossible. It's literally impossible to perform. And then what happens for a lot of us is then our underachiever comes in and says, hey, are you sick of overachiever beating up on you? I know what you could do. You can never have any goals, never work on anything, and you can't fail. I won't tell you should do anything. If you want to, sit down and never do anything and never get out of bed.
Yep.
So then what happens is we get into our underachiever for a while, don't get anything done, and then we start looking at our life and feeling, I'm not doing anything. I need to get back into my overachiever. And so a lot of people will cycle between all of those. If you really want to be happy, if you really want to be accomplished, you need to find your achiever. And your achiever says, hey, it's okay to, as they say, shoot for the stars and miss. It's good to make goals, and I don't have to meet them for the goal to be good. If I made a goal to go to the gym 3 times a week, and I go 1 time a week, I'm still going to celebrate the fact that 1 time a week is better than 0. And so it's all about giving yourself credit, celebrating the little wins. We talk about the Lesotho line. You need to have 7 positive interactions with other people and with yourself for every 1 time that you give yourself needed criticism. And all of us are, oh, somewhere I can improve. There's somewhere I can improve. How many times have you looked at places where, hey, there's somewhere where I succeeded. There's somewhere where I did something more than I needed to do. And build up that trust with yourself. Build up that positive relationship with yourself. Because if you were your own boss, would you want to go to work for yourself? If you've got a boss that's constantly telling you all the ways that you screwed up, all the ways that you could have done better, instead of saying, hey, look at all the ways you've accomplished things, look at all the things you achieved, how long is any employee going to want to work for that boss? And how long before you start getting sick, before you start saying, you know what, I'm not going to show up if that's the kind of treatment I'm going to get. We're going to show up for ourselves when we treat ourselves right. And that's an important thing to learn too. So anyway, here's my thought.
That's a
Bravo.
That's a good point.
Mark,
Especially relate to the. Oh, sorry.
don't go ahead.
The over and underachiever. Oh my God. That's where I went yesterday. The underachiever said, I'm going to sell everything I own, and buy an RV, and I'm going to get in it and be a nomad. I'm going to leave all this challenging shit behind me. My house that I rent and all my toys and my stereo equipment and my vehicles. I'm going to get in this RV. I'll take my little dirt bike, and that's it. I'm going to escape the, what is it? What am I escaping? The torturous mind. But that, like they say, wherever you go, there you are. So it's probably futile. Besides, it would take me a long time. Probably 6 months to be able to liquidate everything. And I figure by that time, my cork is going to pop up again.
Because you're buoyant.
That's right. I am. Like it or not.
Thank goodness we would have
Listen.
never met you if you weren't so buoyant.
It's true. Thank you.
Listen, dude, you are dangerous. People who survive, or what was it? I said it the wrong way. Damaged people are the most dangerous because they know how to survive, dude.
Yep.
I know.
That's right.
And the the good part is I don't go here very often anymore. I used to be down probably more than up 5 or 6 years ago, and I did a lot of inner work. And it's happened twice in the last, like during the 22nd and 23rd of last month, there was some big energy impulse or something. And as TJ knows, there was a lot of crap going on. My God, the energy movement was intense. But prior to that, it had been a long time, and I was kind of proud of myself. Look at where you've been. Look, for so long, good for you. You're doing the work, you're seeing some benefit. And then you get used to, I'll speak for myself, I get used to that, right? And I would tell everybody all day long to embrace whatever happens. The good and the bad, we judge, right? The good and the bad, because within all of it, especially the challenges, perhaps is the greatest light that can be emitted through those great challenges. That's the work, that's where the work is, and it keeps coming up, right? But you get a little bit complacent, and I even though this is the other part that bugs me, even though I know these things, this is part of the should, like I know this shit. I should be able to, like, when it comes up, I should be able to go, oh, there it is, and this is what I need to do. Easy. But then I let my ego slip in, the cunning thing that it is, and start convincing me of things that aren't real. Ay, ay, ay.
Welcome to the tribe, my friend.
Bro, it's like you're reading my autobiography. Honestly, I've been there, man. I'm telling you.
I have a
Damn.
feeling that we're, what's part of our job is to help each other remember shit that we forgot. That's our job, to reinforce, to help us each other remember stuff we know. We know the truth. As spirits, we know everything. We come here handicapped because we wouldn't play the game. We wouldn't do the work if it didn't hurt. If you didn't have to, if your bladder didn't hurt in the morning before you get out of bed, you wouldn't get out of bed. You'd go, all right, I know this game. I'll stay in bed. It's comfortable here.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course. Because I know
Another one. Obviously, that was a question, so another one. What wouldn't it be like to be not you?
Wow. What wouldn't it be like to be not me? What wouldn't it be like? Man.
What's happening right now as you were thinking about it? Where did you have to go to search for the answer?
The remembering and realizing that I do like myself, and
That's right.
I've got to a place, amazingly, is self-love.
That's right.
Right? Amazingly, and that's what I was recalling. Like, I enjoy being with myself. I spend most of my time I'm alone, and I enjoy it. I can entertain myself. I have so many skills. There's always something I can do. I have toys. I have places to go, and I enjoy 99% of the time what's going on in my head.
Right.
So thank you for that, remembering that. I'm thinking of something else I wrote that. Hold on, give me a second. Oh. Loving. Oh, sorry. Oh, to love myself is akin to kissing God.
Something else you guys don't know about my friend Greg. He makes these.
Oh, wow.
Full.
That's an early version.
It is. Yes, I own one of the very first versions.
The original, yes. Before I wrote the cover fancy. This is what it looks like now.
What is it?
It's a pocket book of 50 years of note-taking in my yellow legal pad since grammar school. It's over 650 sayings, profundities, prose, made up words. It's not a novel, it's just a grouping of channeled energy, basically, that I
That's so
came
cool.
to throughout my life. And a couple of years ago, I decided to make a book out of it.
That is very cool.
So
And
cool.
that's one of the sayings I just said. That's one of the sayings.
Yeah. And the apple didn't fall far from the tree, because the recipe book that I told you guys to check out last week,
Uh-huh.
that's his son.
My older special needs son, Spencer, who's 37. Very
Very
proud
cool.
of it.
That is awesome.
And I can see Fran has something to share with us, so I don't want to keep you.
Well, I actually tried to lower my hand unsuccessfully, but apparently. Just wanted to thank you, Greg, because that's so in line. I had an epiphany before I got up this morning, and I'm still sort of in a trancey
Good for
state
you.
with the epiphany
Excellent.
about exactly, you need to get back and touch your essence of God, your essence of life, kissing God, being in a state where you can kiss God, and all the other stuff just falls away and it
Yeah.
stops being important.
Yeah.
And I'm still working on how to actually put it into words.
Mhm.
These are hard to capture in words, but
Yeah. Oh yeah. I understand.
thank you for your words.
Your pleasure.
And yeah, we all need to, I believe, make our goal of finding that essence of life, of that blissful existence, that wonderful feeling, that connection of life.
Mhm. Yeah.
And we bury it.
Yeah.
Because we're human and we get
Yep.
bumped and bruised, and we focus on the bumps and bruises
Yep.
instead of the essence of life. So it's only often as simple as changing your focus.
Gratitude, I find, works pretty well. Look
That's
around
one.
your life. See what's around you. Look at the plates behind you that are beautiful. The artwork on the wall, right? The air that you're breathing. The perfect amount of gravity holding you to your chair, not too tight, not too loose. I mean, your heart's beating. You have nothing to do with that. Our happiness is all around us all the time. You don't have to go anywhere to find it. We just have to remember it, realize it. Yeah. Yep. Good stuff. Thank you.
But yeah, I'm glad you finally showed up.
I was
been
gonna
here waiting
say,
for you.
very glad you showed up. We missed you the last couple of episodes,
Yeah.
to say the
Yeah.
least.
Thank you. It's good to be here. Good to, I almost didn't. I tend to want to go crawl into my cave. And I was there today and yesterday, and I had a chat with a friend earlier, and I went, you know what? It's better when I reach out, have connection with like-minded individuals who help me remember, right? What's real, what's important, and there's always a higher place to go. Choices, as Elijah was saying earlier, choices are infinite, ever present. There's always a plethora of them, and you just have to decide against that, what's left of that inner voice. The ego keeps trying to be in control. You have to choose in spite of that and know what's real and what's true and what's effective. And how, by doing this, I can help others.
And by helping others, help yourself.
The smorgasbord of life.
There you go. Yep. Oh, thank you, Lenora. Very sweet.
You know, I almost didn't come today. I almost went to bed. And I was like, yeah, I'm tired. I'm waking up early. My alarm's going to go at like 4 a.m. It's already 2 a.m., right? But I'm so happy I'm here. I'm happy I got to meet you. Thank you.
Me too. Me too. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for being here,
Very
bro.
helpful. You know, in the end, we're all kindred spirits. We're all part of the same tribe. You know, we're just different bodies, same spiritual personality in a different meat suit, right? And we're all going to go home. One day we'll pass, we'll go home, we're going to have the biggest, longest party ever. We're going to be hugging and kissing one another and sharing stories, and there'll be that absence of heaviness, lightness, no more body to lug around, right? We'll know again what we know, and we'll share without judgment with one another in that place. I'm looking forward to it.
And the cool part that even this today, right here, right now, if I'm correct, if I'm counting correct, we have 6 different time zones represented here.
Wow. Amazing.
What time is it where you are, Fran?
It's 9 a.m. now.
9 a.m.
Are you in what country?
I'm Western Australia.
Wow. 9 a.m. on what, tomorrow? Wednesday?
Wednesday, the 3rd of September.
Yeah, that's wild, isn't it?
And Elijah, what time is it where you are right now?
It is 2 a.m. Wednesday, way past my bedtime, bro.
And you're in the UK?
I'm in the UK, yeah. Yeah.
Nice. Very cool.
I just feel so blessed. It still blows my mind when I say what episode this is. 192 of these.
Wow.
And for you guys to show up and share your valuable commodity of time on this platform, and I'll admit, man, there are some times where I'm just like Elijah said, I just want to go to bed.
Yeah.
Or I've got busyness in my head, stuff I got to do. And I'm so glad that you guys show up to help keep me dedicated to showing up here. So as long as you show up, I'll show up. And thank you.
Thank you.
But it's time for me to say, gotta go. Till the next time.
Right.
And for those of you out on YouTube, guess what I'm going to say? Love you, Ma. Mom's watching, and she appreciates all you guys as well. So thank you for being here. Love you. Go out and have a wonderful life. Hope to see your beautiful smiling faces back here in 7 glorious days. Until then, love you. Bye.
Good night.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.